fucking bumming.
Straight in.
Oh dear. Well, this entrance went about as well as Leeds United's transfer window. Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock podcast. My name's Adonis, and you know me as at the highlights on Twitter. It's very good to love from me, and joining us is the happy clapper at Barney LUFC 21, Barnes.
Oi, all right.
And the Prince of Darkness himself, Machiavelli. Too wet for a round of golf. Shouldn't be playing golf anyway. Awful sport.
What's that?
Big Mac.
Why is that?
Boring. Awful sport. Terrible.
Now then, you pair
Ruins a good walk.
It's a Tory game.
They're all just cliches. If you've got a bit of competitive spirit in you and a thirst for learning and getting better, there can't be many sort of more technical and better sports than golf. It's horrible. It's like, I compared it to today. I was saw my mate on the course today, and so it's like when you go out with a girl, she's really lovely, and the kind of one you take home to your mum and dad, and everything's cool. It's very beige. I'm getting a bit of feedback on the mic. Are you getting that?
Yep, you sound awful.
Yeah, great. Looking lovely. Let me change this over.
But Barney's coming through loud and clear.
Does it sound bad? Or is it? Because I'm getting some...
Sounds pretty bad, yeah. Bad.
What? Anyway, I haven't finished my story. Shall I finish it when I change my headphones over?
Yeah. Well, a lot to talk about. The transfer window went really well, especially deadline day. Fantastic. Robbie Evans, the MD at Leeds, has given an interview. We're buying a set-piece coach, apparently. And we played Newcastle, so we can talk about that. And Wales versus Kazakhstan has just happened this afternoon.
Oh.
Barnes, were you on top of that? Wales versus Kazakhstan, did you see that?
I've been on top of some Wales over the years, but no, I've not watched the game.
Leeds players selected. Was any Leeds players selected? Oh dear.
That's terrible. That's brilliant. Did you hear that, Matt?
Yeah, I heard it. Can you hear me?
Yep. Probably for the best. You can finish your golf story if you'd like.
Is it better? Does it sound better now?
Much better. Yeah, much better.
Right, cool. Yeah, so I'm saying, it's like golf's a sport where, when you meet that really racy, not good for your health, great shag, not particularly mentally stable girl that you just can't leave alone.
This pod's got off to a great start.
Yeah, well, it should. So it should. And when it's good, it's great. And when it's bad, it's really bad. But you can't stop going back. That's golf. Because the sex is so good. And when it's right, it's so good. You just can't help going back. And that's golf. It's one of them sports. And my son, to be fair, being really honest about it, I joke, but my son got into it first. I've retired from golf at least 3 times. I was really good as a kid, stopped when I got into like drinking and being a nefarious character, and then started again when I was about 30 and stopped when the kids were born. So I haven't really hit many golf balls in the last 15, 16 years. But yeah, Lucas started playing. I went with him and I was all right. So this is what golf does. It sucks you back in. Like, oh, you're quite good, Ewan, and then you can't hit a ball straight for the next month. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's really good. I'm spending a lot of time with my son, which is great. And you find out a lot about your son when you play golf because it's can be quite frustrating. So I think it teaches you a lot of life lessons as well, and etiquette and discipline and not getting frustrated, just like life, just keep going and trust your swing, as Howard Wilkinson used to say, to bring it back to Leeds. Yeah, and I think you learn a lot about etiquette and discipline and following the rules. And I think for a young 16, it's great. And he tells you so much stuff while you're walking down the golf course for 3.5 hours, which you wouldn't normally get to spend with him. So it's a beautiful thing. But I am quite competitive, and it's a very, very technically difficult sport. So yeah, I've spent about £1,000 on gear, not that kind of gear, foot golf gear, and I'm all right. And I've got a round tomorrow, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And as my missus always says, drinking's not a hobby. Although I'm trying to make a good bat of it. And I think just having a hobby at my age and possibly something I can spend the next 20 years playing with my sons and spending quality time with them will be a good thing. So I'm going to invest in it and spend a bit of time just going up to driving range and hit a few balls, and I'm doing well. So yeah, long may it continue.
I'm never going to ask about golf again. Barnes?
Oh, you love it. You fucking love it, you slag. I'm going to take you for a round and give you a pint and watch you can do dressage on the golf
A lot
course.
of things will happen, but that won't be one of them. FAO3 says set piece coach should have been in place years ago. We had one.
Yeah,
We had one. We'll
shit.
talk about him in a second. Gianni Vio. And Ali says Darlow played. He did indeed. And also Dan James came on in the 65th minute, which I didn't realise you could actually make substitutions in the 65th minute. I thought
Who knew?
it was only from the 70th because we always make... Right. Transfer window then. Let's go through the ins and the outs. Let's do a bit of the old in out and start off with Barnes. I guess give me a rating out of 10 for the window as a whole. And are you optimistic? And deadline day, how'd that go?
Out of 10, I'd still say 7 out of 10. I think it's still been a good one from at the start. We'd made some good signings from the start.
And this is the happy clapper, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a 7 out of 10, solid 7 from the happy clapper.
I think we've built really well from the back. I think we've got a solid defence midfield. I think Perry's going to come good as well for us. My only concern is I just don't think we've got enough in this league to penetrate some teams than where we need to do it. I just don't think we've got enough on the wings. I think Calvert-Lewin is a good signing. I think he's a good striker. I think he's showed against Newcastle what a difference he can do up front against a team like Newcastle. But can his body hack it for the season? I don't know. Metcher, I really like. I like how he bullies defenders. But has he got the goals to do it for us? I don't think he has. I think we'll be okay, but I think it's going to be like a George Graham sort of season where hopefully we're not going to concede a lot. Yeah, we saw that against Arsenal, but I think we're hopefully going to learn from that. But I think it's going to be some really tight games, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be a pretty season. I think it's going to be backs to the wall a lot of the time. And I just worried that if we concede against some teams that aren't going to be in and around us come at the end of the season, and they know how to set up against us, are we going to be able to penetrate them? We struggled against teams that like to hold back from us, and it's going to be a real struggle, I think, because we've not put additions that we needed up front.
So 7 out of 10 from Barnes. Derek Moore says, "Evening, gents." Good evening, Derek.
Hey, Derek.
All right, mate.
All right, mate. I'd give it a generous 6. Generous 6 from Derek. A 7 out of 10 from Barnes. We better get a dose of reality from the Prince of Darkness.
Here we go.
Well, you know what? I think Barney's right in one respect. I think the first couple of weeks, whatever that first month, you thought, great, perfect. That's exactly what we needed. Get a goalie, get some solidity in the middle of the park, get a spine. I was fully thinking, wow, great. And I had no problems whatsoever with the policy. But assuming that in those latter weeks, there would be a good winger, a 10, a 9 that would set you on fire a bit, or at least give you some hope of scoring a lot of goals. I'm not suggesting that the players we've bought can't do that, but it's a risk because they don't stay fit for long enough. So Calvert-Lewin, Okafor, Nemetcha, historically haven't stayed fit. Now we have apparently a history of Solomon, Byram of keeping people fit who historically haven't been able to do that. If you're asking for a mark, I can't go more than 5 because I think the first, it's a kind of mid amount because started well and just the middle and end was poor because I think we went after people who were not viable, wasted a lot of time and effort on that, too long. If you look at Muniz at Fulham as an example, it's far too long. Do you want to sell him? What's the price? Can we pay it? Yes, no, move on. And we just seemed to flirt with him for far too long. rather than moving on to the next target, and ended up bagging bucket, didn't we? Scraping round. Oh, let's go back for Hamer. The Leeds fans wanted him in the Championship. We don't want him in the Premier League. Let's go for Wilson. I don't want Wilson either. I don't want him anywhere near the fucking club, to be honest. Let's go for Buenanotte. I just think you're just scraping around trying to bring somebody in there, and that's definitely not the right thing to do. In a way, you'd rather Fark and the club said, we're not going for anybody else. We trust the people that are on the pitch, because then you bring that solidity, that kind of camaraderie together, than scratching around for shit players that aren't good enough. Wilson had the right experience. Hamer would have brought that creativity and set pieces. But I just think it was a little bit desperate towards the end. It's that kind of 2:30 nightclub idling up to the Wales that Barney talks about and hoping you might get your leg over at some point. And that was where Leeds were at that deadline day. So that was poor. Barney's got all apocalypse now on us.
Trying to block out the sun.
Oh wow, you can't do that, mate. It's nature. So 4, 5 out of 10.
Need one of those Wales bands.
Yeah, you do, mate.
Block
5
out
out
the sun.
of 10. Don't think we've got enough up front. If you look at the stats so far, it's early days. Barney's right. The defence is holding up well. I think it's top 6 or 7. Spend wise, we're like in the top 7. For in the Premier League for spend, but that's because it's the kind of net spend, and that means, in other words, we've not brought any money in. So Chelsea are kind of below us, but they've spent a fortune, but they've sold a lot of people for money. A lot of clubs have, at Bournemouth, such and such, have sold people for a lot of money, and I think that is another real frustration for me. Why can we not move anybody on for any income? Because ultimately that's PSR, and that is your spending budget. We earned 150 million, and now it's sort of like they're changing the fucking goalposts a bit, saying it's 100 actually, and we've spent it all. We're up to capacity. Well, that's not what Parag said before. It's not whatever that joker's called, who's head of recruitment at the moment. They were talking about 150 million and still getting 2 more players in before the deadline day. So what is it? Is it 150 or is it 100? Are we up to spend or are we not? It looks like they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes, which I really don't like. I don't think we've got enough up front. If you look at how James has started, he's got to get better. Sure, if you look at how Okafor started, got to get better. You look at how... why would you get rid of Ramazani when you haven't got anybody else to bring in? Because surely he's a better option off the bench than some of the stuff that we were, A, looking at, and B, what we've got.
I'm getting the sense that you're not so happy with how the window's gone.
No, I think 5 reflects where I'm at. I think there was a good start and a poor middle and end, and I just think that you bring 1 or 2 marquee signings in at the top of the pitch there. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if we keep him fit, will be a great player just because he's a menace and he's a handful. Barney said Metcher, bullies people, knocks people about, but is he going to score goals? I can't see it. So I think it's just being really realistic that they started well. Bio, 26 million quid, sought after him, first people we went for. Surely he's the starting centre half. We didn't even get a game. So if you can't integrate the players that are there, that you've spent a lot of money on, and you're still playing Gruev and you're not playing Longstaff in games, that to me is a problem. So I think, I'm just being realistic that I think there's a lot of positives, and I think you've got to be realistic. How much were we going to spend? Who was going to come? But actually, I don't think we identified the targets and moved quick enough and brought in the people we needed. And I still think we're short by at least 2 players up top, number 10 and possibly a 9 or a very sort of contributive winger to what we should have had, and that's culpable on the people that are responsible for that.
I think for me, there's not like that sparkle there, is there? There's not a player that you're going to look at and think he's going to do something for us. When we're like a Pablo sort of player or a Rafinha, there's not a player where you think he's going to be our player that's going to add some sparkle, add some flair to it. Because at the moment, there's not a lot of flair in that team.
No,
it's very industry.
Is that what they're going? Is that what they're going for? Though that's the. My question always is, what is their plan now? If you look at the diatribe that's coming out, it's to win 10 games and get enough draws to keep us up. Now, does that team do that? Maybe. Against those teams at the bottom, teams that are in and around us at home, maybe we might win half a dozen, whatever, might get a few. I don't know whether they're really sort of spreading their bets, edging their bets on, let's just, literally what they said, let's stay up this year. But they're really fucking cutting it close to close to the line on have we got enough to do that, and have we got enough to win games and score 2 or 3? Because you're gonna have to score goals to win games, and we don't look like we've got enough goals in us. It's that simple. Calvert-Lewin getting in great positions and missing, I don't mind that as long as he puts that right in time. Because he's getting in the good positions, he is getting on the end of crosses. That suggests he's got that striker's, kind of instinct. But he's got to start putting the ball in the net quickly and continue to do it for us to, in my opinion, have a chance of staying up and getting enough points.
All right, so we've had a 6 out of 10. Oh no, 5. Sorry, and we've had a 7. I think it's probably somewhere between 8 and 6, and that is entirely dependent
7.
on. Well,
there is a number between 8 and 6, Danny.
No, I'd be surprised if it ended up being a 7. I just think. I think if DCL and Mecha and Okafor all get injured at the same time, then it's probably a 6. I mean, it's definitely a 6 if that happens. But if they manage to stay fit and they score a few goals and we stay up, obviously that's an 8. So I think these things are always dependent on results and how we feel, at the end of the season. But looking at it from now, I can see why, Macca, you've given it a 5, and I do think that if we'd have made some signings on deadline day, like Farke wanted us to do, then it would have looked better. I think what the problem has been for Leeds United for the last however many years is communications. I am available if anyone from the club is watching. Probably not. If you want some help with comms, but I think saying things like we're going to be one of the best teams in Europe and we're going to spend every single penny that we have, and I want to bring 2 attackers in before deadline day. I don't think saying those types of things is particularly helpful. I don't think it's helpful for the fan base. Okay, maybe that doesn't matter to the management, the upper management of the club. I don't, but maybe you're not going to get as many sales, for example, of merchandise. But it certainly, I think, is going to matter to the playing squad. Because they're sitting there going, "Oh, well." They're looking around. They're going, Okafor's here, Mecha's here. If I'm Calvert-Lewin, I'm thinking, why do they want to bring another number 9 in? Because I'm the number 9. I've literally got number 9 on the back of my shirt. I mean, that's what I'd be thinking if I was him. And then I'd be looking over at Mecha. I'd be looking over at Mecha and going, he's actually starting in my position, and I have to get ahead of him. And then I'd be looking over at Piru and going, he played in my position last year and was the top scorer in the championship. So we've already got 3 number 9s. Then you're looking at Harry Gray going, he looks quite good in training actually, and maybe he could break through at some point, or at least you'd want that. Certainly as a fan, I want to see Harry Gray get an opportunity at some point. Instead of all of these young lads that we get, we're not able to sell them, and then they eventually go off somewhere for free, and then get picked up by Borussia Dortmund or whoever it is.
Yeah. No, I think it's the communication that's the problem from the club, because I think if they'd have turned around after that first 2 weeks in the window and said, if we're lucky enough to find somebody that fits the bill for the right money, we'll buy them, but we've got a squad we believe in. Fine. Nobody's waiting, but they didn't do that. They sell that dream to people of, we're going to bring 2 more in before the window. You don't know what you're going to do, because if the money's not right and if they don't want to come, when not to be an example, it doesn't matter what you want. It's not about you. And I think there's an arrogance about the 49ers of this kind of, oh yeah, we'll roll into town. I do transfers in my sleep. It's bollocks. They haven't got a pull. I don't think the 49ers as an ownership have got a pull. And I don't think the people they've put in charge of recruitment have got a pull either. In fact, they're quite inexperienced. So
Bielsa had a pull, didn't he?
100. I don't think Rafinha or some of those players that came to play for us would even have engaged with us if it wasn't for him. Everybody wanted to play for him. So you've got to have it, and I think we have it as a club. You look at Okafor's reaction to Dublin. I can't believe how many. That's what you sell as a club. Is you're going to be playing in front of the most vociferous fans who, if you do well, will get behind you and will propel you to be a Rafinha that goes to play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. What are we saying to these people? Get Bill Fotherby back because he could sell, coals to Newcastle, snowballs to Eskimos, but he loved Leeds, and I just think they don't know about Leeds. They've got enough about them to know what we're all about and to sell the city and the club. And I think that, you look at some of the players, you look at Sunderland, right, and at least it could go very wrong for Sunderland, let's be frank, there's a lot of unproven players in there. But when you start being a bit jealous of some of the players they've brought in and they've outbid us on 2 players that we clearly wanted, and actually, probably we lack that dynamic, that, the Diarra, that kind of up and down, very aggressive, goal scoring kind of 8. We obviously wanted him, and we weren't prepared to pay the extra. It's peanuts, it's small beer, £5 million to get him, and Sunderland got him, and he's already started well. Now, whether he continues like that, you've got AFCON coming up, he's going to miss games. There's all that thing that you take into account. I just think there's a little bit of a missell from the club. And a little bit of, like you described it perfectly, communication's poor to the fan base. If you'd have gone, right, that's our squad, we're happy, we might bring a couple of people in January depending where we're at, then everybody knows where we're at, and we're not sat there on Monday going, fucking hell, why are we going for Harry Wilson? Oh, not Hamer again. I was waiting for Ryan Kent to come up, to be honest. I was absolutely 6:45. Fucking here we go. Ryan Kent, where's he? Fenerbahce, right? Okay, what? That's what I was waiting for. It's the same every fucking transfer window. Not good enough.
Right. Abel Ali, they're talking to us like mugs. Ramazani kept coming on and scoring or creating late in games. He played very well for us in patches last season. Derek Moore, largely going, was a major mistake in my opinion. He definitely could have done a job for us in the Prem. So the ins then, let's talk about the ins. It was Anton Stark, Noah Okafor, Beal, Perry, Longstaff, Goodmanson, Justin, Bornout, Calvert-Lewin, Metcher, and Harrison, kind of. That's almost a full team really. And out has kind of Solomon, Christensen, Greenwood, Gelhardt, and JB. So we haven't lost any major players apart from Solomon, who obviously returned to Spurs on loan. Now he's at Villarreal. But I think Christensen, Greenwood, Gelhardt, JB, Deadwood.
Yeah, massively.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, had to get rid of them, so that's good. And Verber as well.
Bag of balls and a fucking packet of mojos what I've got for all of them. That's the problem, isn't it? Nothing. No income, nothing. Yaby, he was part of the Calvin Phillips deal. We took £5 or £6 million off the Calvin Phillips transfer to get Yaby, who, to be honest, has played for Plymouth more than he's played for us. Who got relegated from the Championship last year, and he's got a Hull who are probably going to struggle this year. So what was all that about? What are we doing? You just say, no, I don't want Yaby, I want you to pay £75 million for Calvin Phillips. I don't know what it is. I can't get the commercial aspect of the club. Now, listen, I'm not involved in it. It's easy for me to say, having a beer on a Thursday night. That's their job. Do it better. Bring money in, PSR, that's what it's all about. You're giving people away. You can't, I don't know what we got for Greenwood and da-da-da-da, but won't have been a lot of money, will it? It's literally trying to farm people out who are in the Premiership for Leeds United. You described it. Deadwood, I guess they're not going to play.
I guess the thing is, you're not going to get a lot of money for players that you don't want at the end of their contracts.
I think also as well, the players you're going to get money for, you're going to end up weakening the squad. So I know there's a lot of debate about Strike. I think he's a great player. I think you could make a lot of money on him. Tanaka, can you imagine if the club sold Tanaka and then thought, right, we're going to invest in these players? The fans would still complain. We sold Tanaka to get this striker, and he's only scored 5 goals. So there's never going to be a happy medium with how people think a transfer windows works if it's going to. But I do feel like largely I feel like there's been some major mistake there thinking, yeah, he can go because we're going to bring this winger in, and someone's fucked up there.
And if you're going to let him go, after only a year, then at least get some money. Like we've just talked about it, we haven't brought in any money. At least get something for him, you know.
Nothing. You're right, Barney. I think the three players you look at that could PSR wise and investment wise for this season, you could have sold Nonto, Strike, Tanaka. Right, they're your three assets that you paid little or nothing for, that you could definitely move on and invest in the squad. Now, anything you invest absolutely is a risk. I've said it about Sunderland. Some of that could go very wrong. I do think that possibly Nonto. I think Strike's okay. When you bring Beal on at that money, Burnow. We brought Burnow and Justin in for me as squad players. Right, so forget about all that. You've also not forget about moving people on. You've spent what, I don't know what Justin was, 12 million quid, 10 million quid, 12 with add-ons, Burnout 6 million quid. That's 80 million pounds you've spent on players I don't think we need. So go on, tell me that one. If you bring them on as a squad player and then you go and invest others in people who are going to be in the first 11, great. Maybe Justin or Burnout, but both. Why? Burnow's injury prone. Justin's just about starting to get some consistency back. I do think there's an issue, and I think that's the frustration. And again, I'm not an expert in it, but when you see it black and white, you think there's a lot of things I just wouldn't have done, wouldn't have gone and got Burnow early in the window, and you've still got a budget to work to. Go get Justin early, and then you've got a utility player who can play left, right, centre half. Forget about Burnow. Yeah, it's frustrating. That's why I probably give it a 5, mate. And you can tell I'm getting more frustrated the more I talk about it.
I think the real elephant in the room as well is like we haven't got
Meltdown.
Yeah,
so
thank you. Yeah,
we've got
4.
3 goalkeepers now. Melier,
Well,
we say 4, don't we? But apparently Melier is just happy to be. Of
course he is.
See how his contract.
Of course he is. Why wouldn't you?
But that says a state of football, doesn't it? But also, you just like
no. Would you buy him?
No, not as a
how
goalie.
much is he going to be on though? How much will he be on the week?
If I had a zoo, I might fucking buy him to spin the drafts or something. You know what I mean? I'll fucking buy him as a goalkeeper.
Let me tell you, if we get 3 goalkeeper injuries, we'll be happy. We'll be happy. We've got him.
Alex Cairns will be in next. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can't get rid of anybody. That's the hilarious thing. We've never been any good at moving people. I mean, we had to cancel Bamford's contract. We can't get anything for Bamford. As much as it. Surely Bamford's a good person to have in his squad, a nice person to have around the changing rooms. He's not trouble. Can't sell him. Melier. Can't sell him. Just go through we ruin people, and then why can't we sell him? Well, because he ruined him. He's gone from being a £5 million under 21 French international to somebody that nobody trusts to catch a ball when a cross comes in. So I don't know, mate. Fucking hell. They used to say Leeds was mad because it had LSD and 2 E's in the name of the city, but people come here and just fucking woo. It's like. I saw Melier last Saturday night in Flying Pizza, so maybe he's spending too much time there and not focusing on his job. Just do your job. Just do your fucking job. Yeah.
Hans, we saying something? Okay. Right. Well, Robbie Evans, the managing director, has been speaking to journalists recently. Every single player we signed was our top choice. Nobody moved to a different club. We wanted more than the guys we got. So there we go. We unequivocally maxed out PSR this season. This summer we spent everything we could. If we had gone on to other targets yesterday or onto higher price players back in July, so that's Peugeot and Muniz, the consequences would have been seen in the current roster. So you talked about Bornau. I think we brought in Bornau so we could sell Strauch. That's my opinion. And then we would have sold Strauch for a massive profit, and that would have allowed us to bring in Muniz or Peugeot, because right out of the horse's mouth he's saying that if you believe him, I guess we have to. Is that sales would have had to have been made if we'd have gone for those higher priced attacking.
No, I agree. I think we've established that. We're not stupid. We know that. But don't then tell people you're bringing 2 people in at the end of the window when you're not selling anybody. So it's the same. Comes back to the same point. That's a PR job? That's a Ramazani PR job at the end of the window. It's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you've
yeah.
gone to 70 million on Pajau and Muniz, so basically what you're saying is you'd have brought them in and sold Nonto, Strike, and possibly Tanaka to bring those three players in. That's what you're saying. Two
Correct.
players in.
I think so.
Well,
But he was also saying that they were trying to bring in Harry Wilson yesterday. So that to me in and of itself doesn't make sense. So they would have had to have made a sale in January.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we're telling clubs that, we're telling the world that, are we?
Well,
It just
why
doesn't.
would you?
It just.
Nobody else does it. I don't think anybody else does that. It's like having a poker hand at a card table and saying to your opposition, "Oh, this is what we've got in our hand." It's fucking mental. They're absolutely crazy people, and it's definitely to appease the fans because they know they've pissed people off. The fans aren't happy, so they're trying to appease the fans. Don't appease the fans. Just be honest with people. People that are stupid. We go week in, week out. We've been going for years. We've been here longer than you've been here. We'll be here long after you've gone. Don't take the piss. It's that simple.
I think the worry for me is that they've already turned around. Rob Evans has already turned around saying nothing's going to be happening in January. And I know when you're in a relegation battle and some teams players in, but I think that a player in January and we're in the relegation dogfight, it's going to be very toxic. I think. But
yeah,
I think
just what you want to.
Some of the people that we've got, some of the people at board level. I was talking to a guy that's come over from America, and he came to the Newcastle game, and he spoke to me after, and he said he's done a lot of looking at the people on the board, and a lot of them are real business people. They don't know about football itself or how the sport works in this country. So it's all about business centric rather than actual how football should be. And one of the things that was quite worrying what he was saying is that 49ers have they've got like a PSR sort of thing in American football, and the 49ers are really bordering on to where they are now. So they've spent a lot of money as well. So when you hear about that, then within 3 or 5 years, 49ers want to get rid of us. And then all of a sudden we've reached PSR. A lot of alarm bells are starting to ring as well.
You know where it's going. I've told you this before. It's fucking Red Bull Leeds coming all the way 2 years' time. Trust me. It's exactly what's going on. And when they bring in big signings and find loopholes in PSR and work with other clubs across Europe that they own, everybody will be happy because it'll take all this bullshit out of it. And let's be honest, that's where we're getting to with football now. You know, it's all about success. It's all about being able to compete at that top level. It's not about integrity and morals. So I think that's. People say, if we were Red Bull Leeds, nobody would call them Red Bull Leeds. Anyway, it would still be Leeds United to us. But the next generation don't care. My kids don't care. 16, 14-year-olds, if they can see, I don't know, Neymar or one of them players come or one of these big players playing for us in the next 10 years, they don't give a shit whether we're called Red Bull Leeds because they haven't got that history, that nostalgia about Leeds United as a brand.
Well, that's exactly the point, actually, because the whole summer we were talking about, one or two statement signings, marquee signings. And Jamie Miller has commented, wasted so much time and money on non-marquee players that when the time came to sign a striker, we failed miserably. Owners wrecked. And something interesting that Robbie Evans said, a set piece taking inside wing number 10 type is the one thing we're still sort of missing. How long have we been asking for a player like that?
Since Pablo left. I mean, fuck me. There's a massive. I mean, how many people play football? How many countries have leagues? How many people is there across the world that you could have gone and looked at that have that definition, that dynamic? We're going after Harry Wilson on 2 hours before the deadline shuts. Who did I mean, I know Vogel did it as well, but he was loving the old at Ellen Road that night, wasn't he? Old fucking Harry Wilson. He can fucking get in the sea. Get fuck.
Rightio. So a few more of your comments then. Derek Moore says, Robbie's statement was bullshit. It just made the optics of the window look worse than it already did. He should have just kept his mouth shut or just be honest with the fans.
So yes.
And 8 Ball Ali says, I think Bornau is being underrated. If Mecha and DCL get injured, we might have to play 3 centre-backs. Bornau's favourite position is centre of a back 3. He's calm on the ball.
We'll see.
Well, we will see. And I think that's sort of my point as well. When you sort of look back at these windows and you try and judge them now, I don't think we can really. I don't think anybody. We know that Mecha, DCL, and Okafor are risks. We'd prefer to have signed, proven players who don't have injury histories, but they would have cost 30-40 million each. And we didn't have the headroom of PSR that Sunderland did, but it obviously we're going to be looking over at what Sunderland did and getting jealous. Obviously, we're looking at what Forest have done, what Villa have done in past transfer markets. I mean, they have ignored PSR rules and just gone for it and just eaten the points deductions. And they've eaten the points deductions on the way to Champions League football. Aston Villa had last year.
How's that not a model to replicate that? I mean, I'm not suggesting, who's doing well following PSR? Nobody. So, I mean, you look at Villa now, they've definitely tried to, follow PSR. And I look at that squad they've got now and I think, they're going to be, I don't see them doing really well. They're playing in Europe this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a stretch for them. Forest is the one that you look at and think, they've got a tune out of players that, look at Wood and people like that you wouldn't, Matty Cash, that you think are kind of bottom end of the Championship, top end Championship, low end of the Premier League. They're buying players I really like. I like Douglas Luiz. I wanted McAtee. I showed you that wish list that I had, and Forest seems to have bought about 5 or 6 off that wish list. So, listen, we shouldn't get jealous of other teams. You never know how it's going to pan out. You've said it yourself. We don't know how this strategy is going to work. It'll only tell in 30-odd games' time when we see where we end up in. If we stay up, it's worked. It's a 10 out of 10 transfer window. I just, you've got to give your own opinion. I think my opinion is we're light up top, and I just think that if James doesn't improve, he's been absolutely dreadful for 3 games. I mean, really poor. Everything he's done. He's running. Ramazani got sold because he doesn't run. If you look at his metrics on his GPS, Longstaff ran 12 kilometres against Newcastle, got man of the match. Gave Guimaraes probably the hardest game he's had in years because he knows his game and he's trained with him for the last 4-5 years. But Ramazani doesn't run. But then you've got to look at Peru. Peru has definitely increased his work rate. So you look at Harrison. He's definitely in that team because he's a Farker player. Aronson, not great quality, runs for fun, does the yards, runs 12 kilometres a game. Harrison will be the same. And I do think Harrison will be a useful addition, whatever, as much as he's not liked. I do think he's got loads of Premier League experience and he does work like you wouldn't believe. That's a Farker player. I don't see anybody, all the guys he had at Norwich really weren't technically brilliant players. The striker that scored loads of goals, Shefty Pucci, whatever he's called, and Aarons that he used to go after the right back, not a great technical operator, but an engine. So we're just getting what we ran rings around people in the Championship because it was at a different level. We had Peru, we had Solomon, James, but they're kind of finding the level now a little bit, and I think that's why you want that addition of somebody who's going to light you up, and all that January bullshit. We're not bringing anybody in. That's got to be like a Jedi mind trick on it because we brought Rafinha in January. Look at what a difference he made. Look at what you
October.
can do. Oh, was it? Sorry. Yeah. Well, it's fine. We can do that then. I thought it was shut. I thought the transfer window was shut in October.
I think it was right at the. No, it was like they were experimenting with different ends of the window, and I think that was the year where the Qatar World Cup was there. Maybe
that's right. Yeah.
So
he certainly wasn't brought in. He wasn't brought in the summer anyway. So you've got to add to your squad throughout the season.
Pablo, we got on loan at the end of January under Gary Monk.
Get Mitrovic up front. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, that was on the wish list. So I mean, he did say that Our goal is to avoid January if possible. That's what he said. Anyway, I want to move on now to the just have a look at really the start of the season. Been a mixed bag. I think it's been a very Leedsy start to the season. If I look back, certainly in the Premier League era, Premiership era, I think a sort of ballsy, squeaky bum time 1-0 home win to start off the season, then get absolutely annihilated by Arsenal. Just dodgy, just like not dodgy goals, but I mean kind of lucky goals, kind of not really just bad defending, but just like typical. Like, I mean, you saw Arsenal the other day, and their set pieces were absolutely awful. But against us, every single one was a bang on the money. We conceded with every single shot on target we faced. It was just typical. And then we go to Sheffield Wednesday, and we're playing 12-year-olds, and they've got stands closed, and none of their fans have turned up, and they haven't been able to pay their staff, and the club's in complete chaos. And of course they score. I just knew it was going to happen, and we didn't look threatening at all. And then we have the worst 3 penalties that I've ever seen in my life. And these 12-year-olds playing for them have the best penalties. I can't actually remember who took theirs. It was just awful. So dumped out of the cup, and then a sort of a 0-0 draw against Newcastle at home. And Barnes, I want to ask you, Leeds United 0, Newcastle 0. How did you find it?
I thought a really good game. I thought we didn't look out of our considering that I thought it'd be a game that we'd end up losing. Hear me out.
I'm ready. I've never been more ready.
Happy clapper.
Look up, you keep it up, mate. Don't listen to fucking negative bastards like me.
Newcastle didn't want to play football against us. The crowd were up for it, and I also think that it was a team that were probably they're going to be aiming for the Champions League, and if we can perform like that at home against teams like that, hopefully that could see us through. They didn't look threatening whatsoever. I think we could have had a couple of chances, I don't know. But all in all, I was pretty impressed and happy with a 0-0 draw against a team that could be top 4, top 5.
Okay. Maka?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to say it was a good game, but it was not a great watch.
I was 8 pints deep in, so I'll just caveat.
8 pints. 8.
Can I just check as well? Do you send your lad off to get you another beer?
No, I might do now.
I saw you doing sign language somewhere like I do.
Was that 8 singles or 4 two-handed double pinters?
I think I had 2 2-pinters.
Right.
Where?
Yeah. Peacock.
Today?
No.
Sorry, I thought you meant today. You're doing really well. You're looking really good on it, mate.
Or you've built up an incredible tolerance.
The tolerance must be up there now, I'm telling you, for those 2 pinters in the Peacock. No, I thought, I don't think it was a great watch, but I don't think that's because Leeds were poor. I thought we cancelled each other out. I thought Longstaff was immense. You know, he knows that squad. He knows where Gamaris wants the ball and how he wants time on it. Didn't give him any. Put his foot in where I want to see people putting the foot in. I thought we looked organised. Not great in the final third. I think probably my greatest criticism, we looked a bit short of ideas, a little bit like nervous.
We needed a number 10, maybe.
Well, they needed somebody to gel it all together, like a number 10 or maybe a number 9 that, can score goals and is a threat. But I thought that, listen, they're a good side, they've got good players. You look at what Everton have done since the first game. Clean sheets, beating people, 6 points. Sort of suggests that was probably a better result than we gave it credit for at the time. I think they'll be really dangerous at home, Everton, to the new stadium and what have you. But overall, I mean, Arsenal aside, both the home, if you can do well at home, and that's where you're going to get your 10, 12 wins in it, that's what you want. Now, I'm being slightly ambitious for 12, 10 maybe. If you can get 8 or 9 wins and draw a few away from home, draw a few at home, you're probably going to stay up. I think there's some poor teams in that league. So I think Newcastle was a sort of what we needed after the Arsenal game. It was a kind of solid, structured, organised, hard-working performance to graft a point out of like Barney as a team that are probably going to be in the top 6, 7 in the league. So,
Are you saying
um,
that? Are you saying that Sheffield Wednesday game wasn't what we needed after the Arsenal game?
I just don't think it can. It sounds awful, and I fucking hate saying it because I hate people who do this. It's not a game that matters, and I think that every year when we're getting promoted from the Championship, people say it doesn't matter what we do in the cups because we need to get promoted back to the Premier League. And when you're in the Premier League, you've got to stay in the Premier League, so it doesn't matter what we do. So forget it. Well, when are we going to fucking care about a cup then?
If we win, if we win it, if we go to
When
the final, or
keep
if we go to
fucking
a
playing.
semi-final.
Play every game like you want to win. It's called momentum. That's what fucking every sport is built on: momentum and fucking confidence. And it's like we go into these games going, "No, they don't matter because we're in the Premier League now, so we're Timmy Big Bollocks." So it doesn't matter if we get knocked out by Sheffield Wednesday's under-15s because as long as we stay in the league, it's bullshit. I just don't know what has happened to Leeds United people, club people, fans that goes, "It's fine." It's fucking not fine. Go into that game and win it and get into the next round. If we'd have got into the next round, we'd be playing. Well, we would. If Man United were as shit as us, it'd have been a Leeds Man United. Fucking who doesn't want that? Fuck off. It's just a lot of things that you can probably tell annoy me. This is actually me even more than I thought it would. That just go into every game and be competitive. You don't have to put out your best 11. But we could have beat them with our reserve team if we'd have been up for it. We weren't up for it. We didn't create anything. We were poor all night. They were hungry, and we couldn't even hold Manham. We didn't even hold Manham, where we just taught them a lesson and went, "Nah, you're all right. Back to school, get your own work done." There was a kid who played for Wednesday up front. I think he's called Brown, who was playing with Luca like 18 months ago. He was at UFCA and Luca was at Hammers, and they were playing each other. Big Leeds. I mean, fucking hell. That does not promote confidence or that winning mentality, does it?
Well, to be fair, we had just been thrashed 5-0, but yeah, it was Sheffield Wednesday's 12-year-olds. And there was no impetus, there was no urgency in the attack. Every time Wednesday attacked, there was an urgency there, maybe because they knew that they were, their chances were going to be few and far between, so they had to make the most of those opportunities. But you have to go into every single opportunity, every single attack with that kind of mindset, and that's what you're talking about, Maka, is a winner's mindset.
Correct.
And I do feel that without Ampadu, there's a leadership vacuum. So I hope that Farke can find those leaders that need to step up. But I tell you who did step up, Sean Longstaff. And I thought he's probably going to be all of our man of the match against Newcastle. He just felt like he covered every blade of grass. Obviously, he knows the players, as you've said. When you've been training with a squad of players in your whole career, basically, then he knows them inside out. He knew exactly where they were going to run, what they were going to do next. Yeah, really, really stepped up. And I also got a bit of kind of reassurance with that Newcastle performance, because I thought against a quality that was sort of elevated in terms of the opposition, and they had Isaac hanging over them, whatever. They're a very expensive squad. I thought we started to gel a little bit, and in a way that we hadn't done even sort of against Everton, really. We weren't putting together quality chances. We didn't have any, much of a flow, especially in the attacking third. But I thought the structure worked well, and I thought we were able to start building out of defence a little bit better. There were loads of things that worried me. Perry, for example.
Distribution, Paul.
And what frustrated me the most during that game was the amount of long balls that he was playing to Nonto. And
Dan James, Nonto, never going to win a header. It's like keep banging it up there. Crazy.
Is it? Have we been watching the same thing for 4 years? Like, is that the plan? Like, if we're not like, it was. Oh, Melier was like he was really good distribution against Arsenal in the cup,
First game. Yeah.
the first game, pinging it around, landing it on sixpence.
Yeah.
But then, sort of after that, it seemed to
Appalling.
be long balls over Dan James's head. Now, I don't know why we've bought a bunch of giants, and we accept, right? We accept that we're not going to be able to play it out from the back, okay? And I
Yeah.
accept that too. We shouldn't
Yeah.
even try against some teams, specifically like Liverpool, for example, who are incredibly good at winning the ball back, the high press, and you don't want to do that because they will beat you 6-0. So, okay, so then we're going to have to play the long ball, right? Has anybody sat down and gone, okay, our number one plan for playing out the long ball from the back is Perry kicking it to the shortest person on the pitch? Is that
The
our
two
plan?
shortest people on the pitch. Well, the other thing is, even when he hit Nemecha with it, nobody was running off Nemecha, so it didn't matter. He could have won 20 headers that day. John James, and we watch it when we watch kids play, and you always say, if you've got a big man up front and you're playing long, you've got to have two, the 10 or the 11 and 7, the two wingers, whatever, running off them. So it's anticipating that he's going to win the header. Dominic Calvert-Lewin did it loads against Newcastle when he came on, where he was, winning the header. There's nobody running off it, so they either don't trust him to win the header, or it hasn't been even discussed. Which I can't imagine in a professional football team that you don't say, right, he's going to win 5 out of 10 headers. You've got to speculate that he's going to win it and go beyond him. We're not even doing that. So there's a little bit of a technical thing around it. Now, listen, it's a new team, gelling. You've described it that, you have to gel and learn those things. The team we played in the Championship kind of knew each other by the kind of middle of the season, and when we were doing really well, knew each other inside out. So they kind of knew where Solomon's going to go. They knew where Pirlo was going to make the run. They knew where James. I think there's a little bit of that still to come, but there's a few little real basic stuff that you look at and go, well, who's running off the big guy? The thing that Perry does, which really frustrates me, is he waits a long time to kick the ball. So he'll get it, and then he's got somebody closing him down. He'll wait right to the last minute, and it feels like he snatches a lot of those kicks rather than out
Casual.
your feet, play. Out your feet, play it. He's waiting a long time for people to get closing down and kind of snatching at things. So, you can't hit Nonto and James with stuff. If you're going to hit Nonto and James, go behind. You've got to go really long and hope that James's pace or whatever can get behind him. There's a lot to gel yet, and I'm really conscious about this because we're 3 games in the league in.
It's just we've just seen it for years. That was all. We play out from the back in the Championship against every team in the Championship because no team in the Championship could high press us enough to cause us problems. It's not the same. It was never going to be the same in the Premier League, and we've come in, and it's like they haven't even thought about it. You know what I mean?
Look at Southampton tried to play that the same way they played in the Championship, and it got absolutely mullered every week. So I think there's an argument for that. I do think, positively, which I'm not very often, both fullbacks look great. Bogle and I like Goodmanson a lot. I think energy,
really
quality
good
on the ball. It looks like he might get a few knocks and a few injuries throughout the season. It looks a bit lightweight, but tell you what, quality, mate. Really good signing. I think probably an upgrade on Firpo. I don't think he's probably going to get as many assists, but he's a better defender, better positional sense, and he's still dangerous going forward. Him and Nonto and must be Stack on that left hand side are linking up really well.
Yeah, they are.
Bogle, Bogle. I think Bogle's just a good player, isn't he?
He's a dog.
Bogle is just really technically good at running with the ball. And I know that sounds a really ridiculous thing to say, but the way he runs with the ball so quickly close to his feet, going past players, is so good.
I wonder what he got bollocked for the other night. Was it the Newcastle game? He got bollocked by Fark, didn't he? I don't know if you saw that. I know.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it.
I was 9 pints in then.
Yeah.
You won't have seen it yet. No, I saw it got bollocked by Farker, but
I was too far away. I was in the gods. Derek Moore, no goals from open play in 3 games, worrying, no creativity up front whatsoever. But going to your point,
Fair.
I really think those fullback. I mean, Goodmanson is. I think he's an improvement on Firpo. I do. Just definitely defensively. Maybe not going forward, but certainly against Everton, he was fantastic, especially that first half, even sort of attacking. Now, Barnes, set pieces. The last set piece coach we had, do you remember?
He was the Italian guy.
Italian, yeah, Gianni Vio. LEFC, thanks to LEFC data for digging up this stats. Vio lasted 2017, November 2017 to June 2018. He worked alongside Thomas Christiansen and Paul Heckingbottom, so two Hall of Fame
thankless task.
Leeds United managers.
Did he end up going to Brentford?
He went to Tottenham, didn't he?
Is it Tottenham?
Yeah, I think he went to Tottenham.
Rings a bell now, yeah.
Vio lasted just 211 days, but 10 of the 37 goals scored originated from set pieces, 27%.
Wow.
Do we need a set piece coach?
Yeah.
Massively.
Yep.
Well, before we need a set piece coach, a set piece taker would be nice as well.
I think what we've been saying, the three of us, and also in the chat as well, what they've been saying is that we're lacking some sort of creativity. If that's going to add some sort of a point to some games, a win to some of our games, and the size of the players we've got, absolutely. And how many other modern teams now are having set piece coaches? I mean, if you look at Arsenal, a lot of their game is set pieces, and they've come in second most seasons. They play some good football, but a lot of the games that they're probably winning are from set pieces. So I think it's a massive part of the game. I know it's a ridiculous thing to say because years ago it was all about long throw-ins. Because you even see teams now doing long throw-ins.
Yeah, it's definitely
and
more
corners
direct
now, and it's more direct now. So it's not all about the tippy-tappy and the beautiful football that we want to see. Sometimes you just want a ball to go into the net, no matter how it goes in.
Get it in the mixer.
Yeah.
I
mean, does a set piece coach, does that count against PSR? I don't know. Does it? I don't.
No, surely not.
Surely not.
I don't think we can afford not to do it because I think that if you look at historically, probably since Pablo left, our set pieces are fucking poor. We had a little run on it. There was a point where we looked decent, but there's no imagination or creativity in anything that we do. I do think they need somebody to get hold of that aspect of the game and just make sure it's better. It's not been great for a long time. You think about the times where Janssen played and Pablo was playing. There was definitely a link to his quality of delivery and the way Janssen attacked the ball. And we scored quite a few goals that way. If that's the metric on the kind of percentage of goals scored, I mean, look at Arsenal. The number of times they've won big games against good teams by a set piece. That might make the difference.
I mean, look at how Declan Rice puts that corner in. It's exactly the same corner 9 times out of 10, and it's just right underneath the crossbar. I mean, it must be. How do you defend against that? It's just like
it's impossible.
It is, yeah.
Impossible. But what you need is it's easy to defend against if you haven't got the setup in the middle because the keeper catches it 9 times out of 10. But if you know that there's going to be 2 players either side of the keeper who've got no movement and then 2 or 3 attacking it in certain areas, it's all about that kind of organisation. There is times where I think we take stuff and it doesn't look like there's a kind of a plan. It's almost like, well, stick it on the 6-yard box, like a Sunday League team, stick it on the penalty spot, stick it on the 6-yard box and get 2 of your centre halves attacking it and have your centre midfielder who can strike a shot on the edge of the area. It looks a bit basic to me. So, I mean, listen, you're scratching for those, it was the England Rugby Union coach, wasn't it, who said it's a game of millimetres, it's fine margins, and I think that might just, if it gets us 10 points this season. Clive Woodward, yeah, it'll make a difference.
Set piece coaches' wages do count towards PSR as a component of the new squad cost ratio, SCR. that are set to the rules that are set to replace PSR, profit and sustainability. This is according to Google's AI overview, so it could be wrong. I haven't checked it. That's AI. I'm assuming that AI is correct.
Everything.
Well, we've got Harry Wilson's transfer fee and wages fucking to throw at it. So get on with it.
And we have been asking for a set piece coach for years as well, or at least just a decent plan.
And a 10.
Well, I'll tell you what. As soon as we start missing corners and missing other set pieces, Leeds fans will be like, "Get him out! We don't need a set piece coach."
Yeah, true.
That's how Leeds fans are.
Yeah, that's true. If one long throw goes wrong, the set piece coach.
What a waste of money!
It's not the point Jack Harrison can't cross a ball to save his life. It's the set piece coach's fault. That's the difference. Arsenal have got Odegaard and Declan Rice taking set pieces, and we've got Jack Harrison. Fucking hell. Yeah, bless him.
Michael with a comment then, and then we'll wrap this up. Michael says, you have to look at the teams Leeds United have played to date. 2 of the 3 teams are top 6 teams that will be playing in the Champions League. Everton and Newcastle. Leeds more than match them. True. Very true, Michael.
Sheffield Wednesday's under 16s. I refer you to Sheffield Wednesday under 16s, Your Honour. Early days yet. That's the Michael's right in a way that it's early days yet. Let's see where we are in 10
Very early days. And we have started season slow under Farker, and we have got better, and as the teams have gelled, and there's been a rebuild every season.
Pirro's going to come back in the team and score 20 goals. I'm telling you, fucking you heard it here first.
That's on record, Mac. Right, so Barnes,
Pirro at 10.
What's your thing
DCL
this week?
What's my thing? Not a lot this week, to be fair.
No? You've got a new job, haven't you? Did we talk about your new job already?
Yeah, it's interesting, actually. Yeah, interesting.
Is it?
I don't want to... Yeah, asset management. So
what kind of assets?
I don't really want to go into it, if you know what I mean.
Big boobs.
Import, export.
Yeah.
I don't want to go in. I don't want to talk about it. Fair enough. Let's fucking shut that one down. Right, let's not talk about your new job. What else is your thing, Barney?
How about we talk about something you do want to talk about?
Have you watched any good 80s TV recently or 70s TV that
you're talking about your relationship with your son playing golf. So over the summer holidays, me and my son have been watching all the old A-Team.
Oh, amazing. Does he like it, though?
He says he loves it more than actual modern TV because you can see...
Wow.
Chip off the old block,
there's no sort of AI involved. And
real stunts, man.
Real stunts and stuff. So he really enjoys it, yeah. So I think we've got 2 more episodes of the last season as well.
It's when you fly out to Spain next year and he goes, "Ain't getting no plane, fool." Ain't drinking no milk, fool.
You're going to have to show him Short Circuit, Barnes. Remember Short Circuit?
It's not great. Yeah, it's not one of my favourites, to be honest.
Get him on the Fall Guy. Dukes of Hazzard.
Well, he obviously like Minder.
Of course. But obviously, it goes without saying.
he likes the Sweeney as well.
And
the Professionals as well.
Yeah.
I love the Professionals, man. Yeah.
The Man from Uncle?
No? Not into it yet, I bet.
I can never get into... Because that's like, mid-70s, wasn't it? Late 70s.
What about the Avengers? Avengers, you can't get into.
No,
is that bad?
That's late 60s. It's a bit.
Oh dear. Mac, save us. What's your thing?
Save us. Fucking hell, if you're allowing me to save you, we're in big trouble that way. Maybe we should quit this podcast now. Well, obviously, we've talked about it. The big thing is I've got back into golf. I'm going to be the next Tiger Woods. I'll be on tour in 2 years. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into it, probably to the detriment of my business. But I need a hobby. I spend a lot of quality time with my son. So what more reason do you need? And it's a really frustrating and technically difficult sport that just takes up a lot of... I like practicing as much as I like playing, so hitting balls...
Going on about golf again.
Golf.
I know, but I just get obsessed with it. It's like I say, it's like that girl. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same. The thing, other than golf, is I had a month off and went back to work this week. It's fucking horrible. I feel like them kids that say, "I don't want to go back to school, but I don't want to. I've been off 6 weeks." I've gone a bit feral. So this week's been a bit of been difficult thinking about like being conditioned to work and thinking about schedules and staff and fucking hate it. So I might just retire and play golf and go on holiday a lot. Fuck it. Yeah, that's my thing. Fuck, that's it. Done.
Brilliant. And my thing was that I organised the NUJ Vigil. That's the National Union of Journalists Vigil that happened on Monday. We basically just remembered and sort of honoured the, at least 233 journalists and media workers that have been killed in Gaza. And I thought that was I thought it was a very powerful and important message of solidarity with journalists who are in obviously, probably the most difficult situation, there's been arguably for the last sort of, since World War II, really. So I think that was important to do. I'm glad we did it. It was a lot of effort talking to council, Barney's colleagues, the police, and a lot of, it's a tricky topic. It's a very, very tricky topic. It's divisive in this country. I feel like, I hope that it's becoming sort of less divisive. I hope that people can sort of see the reality of what's going on over there without all the sort of bluster and conspiracy theory and denials. But obviously that's, it's harder and harder to see what's going on if you kill all the journalists. So that was good. That was my thing this week, and I've just sort of finished editing the video, and so I can sort of rest now for a few hours before I go back to my final project, my 20-minute degree, 20-minute documentary.
He's slagging me off about my fucking golf. He's going on about his degree again.
I'm telling you what. It'll be over soon. 12th of September, lads. 12th of September.
Yeah. Then he'll have to get a proper job.
Exactly. Yeah. If somebody will hire me. Which is
I'm sure they will.
Reporter for hire there that you can see.
I just don't understand how you're going to continue to do a podcast with us two lunatics and fucking somehow create some sort of professional furrow for yourself. I don't get it.
Yeah. Are journalists allowed to have a personality? Are they allowed to be football fans? I don't know. Are they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's a great, platform for you to do it. But are we the best people to do it with? Is my question. I think there's definitely going to come a point where he's going to, a bit like Wham or something. He's going to go George Michael on his mate and fuck us off. It'll be me and you on here talking nonsense about fingering and golf.
I won't be talking about one of them.
Yeah, no, me too, probably, to be fair. I'll give up golf by then.
You were the best available, Matt.
Thanks, mate. Well, that's I've gone a long way on that so far in life, so don't worry about it, kids. Drink responsibly.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we've had, 400 plus viewers on Twitter.
Get alive. Play golf.
486 currently. Play golf. That's awful. Awful advice. And we got 15 on YouTube. So it's hello to all the people on YouTube as well. And hello all the people on Twitter. Wishing you a very lovely international break. Who are we playing? Andorra. Obviously Wales have played Kazakhstan. So an absolute football feast.
Sounds great.
Until Leeds United return. We'll be back hopefully next week, and have a lovely week, and we'll see you next time.